In the bowels of the Cincinnati Gardens after the 2010 CIFL Championship game, this is Wolfpack TV, on location in Cincinnati, Ohio, where tonight the Wisconsin Wolfpack tried to win the first championship in franchise history. But they fell short, losing to the Cincinnati Commandos 54-40. It was a long road to this championship game for the Wolfpack, both literally and figuratively. Last week, a huge 25-24 win over the Fort Wayne Firehawks just to get here. Then, an 8-hour bus ride in an unair-conditioned bus on a very hot day heading all the way from Madison to Cincinnati. After that, a game against the best team in the CIFL in 2010, the Cincinnati Commandos, in an unair-conditioned building, the Cincinnati Gardens, and against an offense that was the top in the league in 2010. Could the Wolfpack pull it off? Well, not quite, but they did make a good run at it, including a late-game effort by Brandon Wogoman that ended up in him having 14 catches and 151 yards, along with 2 scores. Combined with his kick return yardage, Wogoman set records for the CIFL championship game and overall had a great night. Let's talk now with Brandon Wogoman as he shares his thoughts after this championship game. Wolfpack TV following the Wisconsin Wolfpack's 54-40 loss in the 2010 CIFL Championship game. We're joined by Brandon Wogoman, and it was certainly no fault of yours that the Wolfpack lost tonight. 14 catches for 151 yards and 2 scores. Those catches and yards marks, CIFL Championship game records. You and Matt Schabert had a great connection tonight, but it just wasn't enough. The Commando offense just too high-powered.
Yeah, it's a devastating loss. The heat really killed us. We chanted before the game, Hartmeyer hot before the game. So, the heat really killed us, and they were giving us the short stuff, and we were just making plays. So I don't know. It was 1 or 2 plays throughout the whole game that probably could have taken the game either way.
A 39-yard reception near the end of the game that sets up Marcus Lewis's final touchdown of the game. The ball just was floated out there for you by Matt Schabert, and you were able to run underneath it. Did you guys still think you had a chance at that point? And talk about that play.
Oh, yeah, that play. I tell you the truth, that play, I didn't even know how much time there was. I was just running the route. We had a chance all the way down to their last score. Third and whatever it was, 2 from the goal or on the 2-yard line. We had a chance from there. All it takes, even if you're down 2 scores, is an indoor you can score in 5 seconds, and then you can get a kick onside, and then you can score again in 5 seconds. So 20 seconds you can play. You can come back from 2 touchdowns down. So we were in it all the way to the end. We were exhausted, and we were just playing with heart towards the end of the game.
You're a CIFL veteran, Brandon. You've played for a number of teams in the league. Of course, you started the year with the Chicago Cardinals. Is it a little heartbreaking to see the Commandos out there celebrating this victory?
Heartbreaking, yeah, because we're not celebrating. You can't take anything away from them. They had a great year. That one loss to us where they weren't even playing their whole team. So, I don't want to take anything from them, but it is very heartbreaking. I'm very excited that I had the opportunity to come to the championship with the Wisconsin Wolfpack and show what I can do. Hopefully we can come back next year and show them even more.
And you will come back next year, right? Reflect on this year, a great experience for you at the end of the season with the Pack.
It was a great experience. I had a great time playing with Schabert, became great friends with him, Marcus Lewis and MJ, and I know Matt Ron from Chicago and Jimmy Sycon and Mike Matranga and I went to the same high school. So, it was we had good team bonding, everybody, we rode all the way down here in our underwear. So other than that, we got real close on the trip down here, so hopefully we can get a little bit closer on the trip home too.
Maybe a little bit more than we wanted to know, but at the same time, good to see you smiling and happy despite the disappointing result tonight. 54-40 and a record-breaking night for you, Brandon Wogoman. Thank you for joining us on Wolfpack TV.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Back underneath the Cincinnati Gardens with the head coach of the Wisconsin Wolfpack, Jordan Kopac. You've won a number of championships and you've lost a few, and this is one of the ones that you lost. Let's start with the turnovers tonight. It seemed like Matt Schabert at times was brilliant and at times just couldn't hold on to the football. 3 interceptions, 2 fumbles, and in the end that really costed you big.
Right, I think that was the difference in the game. That and the fact that we ran out of linebackers and we were using defensive linemen as linebackers. Those 2 things really made it difficult. That was a good team and been difficult to beat at best.
James Kamoku, of course, went down with an arm injury in the game, but, we talked with Brandon Wogoman just a little while ago. 14 catches, 151 yards, both CIFL championship game records. For the struggles that Matt had tonight, he also kept you in the game, and Brandon Wogoman had a spectacular night this evening.
Right, I think what was happening is that their nose guard was jumping the ball, and so the center had trouble getting it. So he was getting to the center before the center was centering the ball. And so, as an example, the one in the end zone, the touchdown, because that ball went off so wild. The nose guard hit the center before he centered the ball. But the officials, of course, said they didn't see it.
It's always tough when that happens. Now, Jordan, too, we want to talk a little bit about the trip down here because it's a long trip. Brandon said that the guys, a lot of them, stripped down to their underwear in the bus because there was no air there. It's notorious. They used to talk about back when the Reds played at Riverfront Stadium how hot it can get in Cincinnati, and you add in the humidity from the river nearby, it can be just stifling. That long bus trip had to be really draining for the guys, and then in a facility like this tonight where there was no air conditioning, I have to think fatigue was part of the factor.
Well, yeah, I think that was part of the factor. Of course, they played the same place we played. But we did have that sauna trip down here for 8 hours, and I'm sure that took quite a bit out of the guys.
Different guys take this in different ways. Matt Schabert, visibly emotional after the game. Brandon Wogoman still able to smile and give us the interview. How do you guys bounce back from having to play such a tough game against Fort Wayne just to get to this point, and then having this disappointment tonight of seeing the Commandos on the field celebrating a championship?
Well, I think that give them 72 hours, and they're all competitors. They've got it in their soul. They want to compete. You give them 72 hours to get over it, and they'd be right back next week if we had a game. So I think it's harder on the coaches than it is the players because they can express themselves physically and get tired physically, and I guess the coaches just get tired mentally.
Of course, you have preparation coming up for the outdoor Wolfpack team, who will be playing a number of games at Hart Park in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. But just to recap, the 2010 season, and I understand it might be a bit of a blur right now given that it just ended. How did you feel it compared to your expectations in the end?
Well, I think we did quite well. I think that we had good players in all the positions. This last team we put on the field certainly wasn't the first team we put on our first game, and we realized that we had to evolve as time went on. And you have people that move and people get injuries, and we were quite pleased with the ability that we had to backfill when we had needs. And as I look over the season, second isn't the best, but isn't that bad either.
Second place in 2010, you lose in the CIFL championship game 54-40, but all in all, a great year. Lots of fans come out to see the Wolfpack at the Hartmeyer Arena, and you get to a level that you've never gotten before with this franchise. And you can only hope that the hopes are brighter and that the fortunes go up in the next few years and that the Wolfpack stick around. So, Jordan, I thank you for joining us all these times this year and throughout the 2010 season on Wolfpack TV.
Yes, well, thanks, and I certainly appreciate you doing all these interviews and hanging in with us, and we'll get them next year. Thank you.
Jordan Kopac, and that will do it for Wolfpack TV in 2010 on the indoor side. 54-40 is your final score from here in Cincinnati as the Cincinnati Commandos claim the 2010 CIFL championship. The Wisconsin Wolfpack do have to settle for being runners-up. However, they aren't quite done with the 2010 year. Of course, the Wolfpack will be back at it outdoors. Look for the Wolfpack outdoor team to start playing in late July. Home games will be at Hart Park in Wauwatosa. For everyone involved with Wolfpack TV in 2010, including Nicole LeBlanc and Mark Cook from Cincinnati, Ohio, for WIWolfpack.com, I'm Dan Pfeifer.
Making